Hey guys, Vape Geeks coming at you today with our very first variable voltage, variable wattage mod review. We do a lot of talking about our builds and our drippers and stuff. This is more along the lines for someone that doesn't want to take time to build their own coils. The iTazte VTR, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Caleb, who is the proud owner of our iTazte VTR that we have here today.
Thanks for that great intro, JC. So the iTazte VTR is a little bit higher end device from iTazte. It's part of their top-of-the-line series, and we're going to go up closely right now. So here is the iTazte VTR and the box that it comes in. They do package their higher-end devices in these really nice kind of textured boxes. So one of the first things we're going to do, obviously, is open the box up. It's got this nice little clasp here. And this is what you get in the box when you receive your VTR. First thing we're going to pull out is the user manual. There's a whole bunch of good information in here and some bad information. It's in several languages, you know, pretty much a standard user's manual. So we don't need that. We're here to look today at the VTR itself. This happens to be the jungle camo version.
I think it looks sweet. I like that color.
It is. It's also not as much of a fingerprint magnet as the all stainless version, which I did have before, and I kind of decided that I like the coloring and whatnot of this one better. So as you can see on the screen area here, if I kind of wipe it off and maybe I can tilt it for you, that looks pretty decent. But if I push on it here, boom, fingerprint. So I mean, the thing is kind of a fingerprint magnet in these stainless steel areas, but it is what it is. So overall, first impressions of the device, this thing, when you have a battery in it, weighs almost a pound, which is pretty heavy for any variable voltage, variable wattage mod, but I kind of like it. It's really sturdy. I mean, the thing just feels like a tank in your hands. It's nice and big, and it's got that real well-built, sturdy feel to it. So I kind of enjoy that. Working around the device, obviously we've got our tank here. This right here is actually a screen. I can show you there. There's your resistance and then your wattage setting. This is just that round curved area of the screen, or the tank is here. Moving to the back, kind of a cool design here. This says "Taste it, love it" right here.
Kind of the new Innokin motto.
Yeah. Moving to this side, on the bottom here we've got some battery vent holes, and then you've got your fire button right there, and a battery indicator window, which hopefully you guys are going to be able to pick up on screen. Yep, there we go. That glows 3 different colors. Let me turn the device off real quick. When you turn it on, you get that standard Innokin light show telling you that the device is on. And then when you hit it, this is a fully charged battery, so it's going to glow green. As the battery drops in its total voltage output, it's going to register that on the device. You're going to see yellow for a medium charged battery and red for a discharged battery. On the top here, we've got a center button, which is really clicky and nice, and then you've got a rotary switch, and that's how you adjust your power and wattage settings. So here we are. We were in power mode. That's your resistance once again. Now that we're in power mode or wattage mode, we can adjust that all the way up to 15 or all the way down to 3 watts. From here, if I press that again, we get into voltage mode, and that is 3 to 6 watts in 0.1 volts. I'm sorry, those are volts. And it increases and decreases in 0.1 volt increments. I do like the screen on this. I think it's kind of cool that it just looks like a mirror. When I initially picked up this device, I was in a store, and I actually called JC to ask him about this device, and he's like, "Oh, the screen's really cool on it." And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, "There's no screen on it. What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh no, trust me, put a battery in it and push the button." And I did, and I was like, "Oh, that's just really cool." On the bottom of the device, you've got this big hatch-looking thing. This is actually going to be your battery door. So this little switch right here, just pull it back, flip that door open. Oops. Flip that door open. and that's what houses your 18650 battery. That is the only battery size that the VTR accepts, but it's going to give you a full day's worth of vaping. This happens to be an EH 18650 with 2000 mAh, and that's plenty for an 8 to 10 hour shift at work for me. So overall, this is a very well performing device for me. It hits well. I like to use this in the mornings a lot when I'm not looking to use my big dripper and make those big huge clouds. It's a well performing device. Want to talk to you about the iClear 30S, which this device does come with. It's a newer tank from Innokin. I believe it released around the same time as the VTR.
That's why it comes with it.
Perfect.
I think the newest version, they might be releasing the B with it, but that's something to talk about later.
Yeah, unconfirmed fact. Alright, so this is a really nice tank, actually. On the bottom, ooh, this is very dirty. Lots of old juice. The bottom's got some markings on it. It says iClear 30S, and it's got the CE logo, and I think the logo that says "Don't throw it in the trash," which I don't know what's hazardous for landfills that's in this tank, but okay. This is a top-wicking coil setup in here, and I don't have any additional coils to show you right now, but it kind of fits in there like a cartomizer. If you screw off this bottom cap, you guys can kind of see the lines that would be typical with a carto tank.
And it is a dual coil, for anybody wondering. It's a pretty decently performing device. They're fairly popular.
Yeah, this thing for me outperforms, in my opinion anyway, it's going to outperform a Pro Tank 2 or a Pro Tank 3, at least based on my experience. This does come with a drip tip that's got that nice knuckle on it, so it's got some decent rotation. However, you can unscrew that, it pops right off, and then, whew, tanks everywhere. You can pop on a standard drip tip, such as this one. So iClear 30S comes with it in the box, and it is a fairly well-performing tank. Can't get that back together. Other thing in the box, this is just an extender piece. Basically the way that this works, and the reason for this, is if you've got a tank that's just a little bit too large, such as this. What is this again?
That is the Smoke PBC.
The Smoke PBC V1. So this is going to be just a little bit too large to fit inside the VTR. It's just going to sit on top of that top ring right there. Even if I took the drip tip off, I wouldn't be able to get this quite to fit. So what we can do is screw on this extender. If this is like absolutely the tank that I must use, now we can screw this extender on, screw the Smoke PBC V1 on there, and it makes it considerably bigger and a little bit more unwieldy, but it does allow you to use a wider variety of tanks and things like that. Some other things that you might want to put on this extender would be maybe an RDA like a Trident or a Nimbus. This will fire coils all the way down to 0.8 ohms. So that is pretty impressive. A lot of these variable voltage, variable wattage devices that are coming out aren't going to fire anything below 1 ohm. So that was another reason that I decided to go with the VTR. I like to play below the 1 ohm level. We're having some lighting issues. Whoops. So anyway, that is how you use the extender. Now, I did notice that there seems to be just a slight voltage drop when you do screw that extender on, but it's nothing really earth-shattering or show-stopping. If you do use like a Stardust or something like that, the top cap of this does come off to accommodate that that Stardust style 510 connection.
The ego cone threading, the outside cone threading is on there as well.
Yes.
If you're using Kang or T2, I believe is the name of the tank, or a Smoke RBC, does have that outside cone threading on there.
Mm-hmm. So pretty handy. It's good that Innokin throws that in and doesn't make you buy that as an additional piece or anything like that. So some things that do fit, this is the Smoke Trophy V2. This does fit just fine inside that ring, and it vapes really well. Oh, if you have the device on, that always helps. So, all right, well, you guys weren't really able to see that, but I did get a pretty decent hit off the VTR, and we'll talk about that once we get out of uppy-closey mode here. So, spinning this tank off, this Ego threading is absolutely smooth. Love it to death. Or the 510 connection threading, I apologize. So here's a Pro Tank 2 on the VTR. Spin that right on there, and that looks pretty good as well. You know, there's a little bit of room around the ring, so you can potentially get a little bit of movement, but I've noticed that these Ego threads are pretty solid, so I don't see a lot of movement. Just for S&Gs, what did I say?
Ego, it's 510.
Ah, Ego threads, 510 threads. So just for S&Gs, I've got a VV Nova here, just to prove that this is a very versatile device, even though it has this ring and whatnot. And the outside of my VV Nova is absolutely soaked with juice, so I'm having some traction issues with my fingers, but that is essentially, well, that's loose too. Oh, there we go. Alright, there we've got it screwed all the way down. So it's kind of weird looking, but if you're a big VV Nova fan, I guess, you could use that on the VTR as well.
Like the Fast Tech drip tip on there.
Yeah, gotta love my Fast Tech drip tips.
How's the RSST Genesis style atomizer fit on there?
So the Smoke Tech RSST JC is not going to fit in there. I know how much you love the RSST.
I do. It was my first rebuildable. Awesome tank.
Can't quite get it in there. However, with that extender, go ahead and pop that on there. And we'll just screw that down.
Oh, there's no coil in there right now.
Pop a drip tip on, and there it is. So as long as this is rolling along at over 0.8 ohms, we will be able to fire the RSST on there, as long as you don't mind it looking just a little bit unwieldy. So that is really just about it for the VTR. Again, a very, very solid device. I can throw this thing in my pocket, throw it around all day. I'm not going to have to worry about it not working later. It might get scuffed up, it might get scratched up, it may not look as nice, but it's probably going to work. JC tells me that a lot of airmen, he works at the Bellevue location for Plumes, which is a brick and mortar retail store here in the Omaha metro area. We have an Air Force base near the Bellevue location for Plumes. JC tells me that quite a few airmen come in looking for something sturdy, and this is what they end up walking out with, because this thing is just a tank of a mod. Alright, let us go back out to wide view, get with you guys.
Talk some specs. Alright, so now that we've pulled away from the uppy-closey, let's talk about a couple things. First of all, Innokin, a lot of you probably already know, it is a Chinese manufacturer. We talk a lot about our clones that we get of certain high-end mods. A lot of them come out of China. A lot of them are actually really decent clones. But, I mean, Innokin, China, really stepped up their game with the VTR. As far as specs go, it does outperform the ZMaxes, VMaxes, the MVP, which is another Innokin product. All of these products that come out of China right now, this is probably the most accurate and most powerful one. Has a completely independent chip from any other device on the market that fires more accurately. Now, if you're familiar with the ZMax or VMax, you probably know, like, especially when you're using a cartomizer, you get that rattlesnake sound, and that's that 33.3 hertz chip that a lot of people talk about. It's actually firing at a pulse to get you your set voltage rather than just firing at that set voltage. This does pulse, but it pulses at a higher rate of like 40, I want to say like 44.6 hertz, I believe, is what it came out to. It doesn't really give you the crackly sound, and it's closer to the DC output that you see out of things like the ProVary or DNA devices. I mean, it's an excellent performing device, especially for the price point.
Yeah, while we're talking about price point, we need to let you guys know a couple of things about that. I have seen this as low as like $79, $75 and as high as $110. Depending on where you go online, we all know we can sometimes get things cheaper online. In a brick and mortar store, they've got a little bit of overhead, they've got to charge a little bit more. So you might be looking upwards of $90, $100, $110 in a brick and mortar. But for around $100, you should be able to pick up an iTazte VTR. That's not going to come with a battery, not going to come with a charger, so those are some additional accessories that you will need to buy. At least one 18650 and some sort of charger. But you are going to get the VTR, the iClear 30S, and that extender.
Now, depending on, I don't know what they're doing right now. I know the ones that we have in stock still have the 30S, but I have heard that they might be starting to put them in with the 30B, because I believe the 30B will fit in that recess. Not 100% sure. We don't have one to test out with us today. But we'll actually get back to you on that when we do figure that one out.
Yeah, we'll come back with the VTR and a 30B here shortly, as soon as we can get one.
And you can, if you know you're around our area, you can pick this up. Once again, at Plume's, it's going to run you $109.99. I mean, for the price point, it performs pretty close, like if not just as good, with devices like the ProVary. I mean, it's a really kicking variable voltage device.
It absolutely is. I love it. Again, early in the morning, just waking up, I don't need all that right there. He
doesn't need this, yeah.
But you know, it's nice to just be able to grab this. And to be honest with you guys, I've had this battery in here for about a week and a half. That's how little I use this. Not because it's an ill-performing device, but I just use it, you know, if I don't want to blow clouds, basically. If my throat's a little sore or something like that, and it just keeps on ticking. That light is still nice and green, indicating that I've got a full battery in there. So I mean, I really do like the VTR. It's a well-made device by Innokin. One last thing to talk about. Some people have been using these with the K-Fun Lite. And absolutely love it. One modification that you will need to do is take a Dremel or a rotary tool of some sort, rotary cutter, and they've just been chopping off and then sanding down the remaining parts of this outer ring right here.
If you don't want to use the extender. But I will say, from the pictures I've seen and the things that I've seen, with the K-Fun in that recess without the little guard on there, it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's good looking. I'm not sure. I kind of like to keep my devices pristine. Maybe after the first time I drop this thing and get a big gouge in it or something, I'll be willing to do that. But for now, I'm happy with this Trophy V2 or the iClear 30S or the Pro Tank 2 by Kangertech, any of those things. Or I'll pop an extender on if one of my tanks is too big. This PCV by Smoke, PBC, sorry, watts, volts, 510 ego threading, all that. I'm all over the place today. But this Smoke PBC tank, I really do like this tank. It's a well-performing tank. Bottom coil.
Big capacity on that too. Really good capacity.
Absolutely, and I love to use it. So I will throw the extender on with that once in a while. But any questions about the VTR, guys? Let us know in the comments.
And if it's anything we haven't covered or we're not 100% sure about, we'll look into it and we'll get your questions answered.
Absolutely. With that, guys, I think we're going to end this video. Yeah. So, again, questions, hit us up in the comments.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button down there. We got more cool, fun, exciting stuff on the way.
And tell your friends. JC and I were just talking. We want to do giveaways. We want to give you guys juice and mods and things like that, and we've got a lot of vendors that are willing to work with us on things like that.
But we do need your support for that, you know.
Yeah, we need to have subscribers to give these things to.
Yeah, we can't, you know, with even just 100 people. I mean, we do want to do, that's going to be probably our first giveaway once we hit 100 subscribers. 50 or 100. But right now, where we're setting 20 subscribers, you know, it's probably going to be someone we know that gets it. So pass the word around. We are here, and
We love you 20 subscribers, but we need more people to give things to. We want it to be pretty random and be able to get some stuff out there to people that maybe aren't in our state and things like that. So please, again, tell your friends, tell them that you like the Vape Geeks and they should like the Vape Geeks too.
I like the Vape Geeks.
I love the Vape Geeks. They're my favorite people.
High five. Yes.
All right, guys, with that, we are out of here. Have a good one.
Stay strong, vape on.
Bye.